Disclaimer: this story contains mature themes intended for adult viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. I never thought a soft summer afternoon could feel so heavy. The breeze brushing my skin was light, but the weight in my chest, the knot twisting in my stomach, it was anything but. I sat there on the edge of the sun-drenched balcony, wrapped in my towel, the faint scent of jasmine drifting from the garden below. My heart pounded, not because I was afraid, but because I knew he was coming. And I didn't know which version of him I'd meet today. His name is Damon. My husband. My lover. My stranger. There was a time when his touch was gentle, when his eyes searched mine like I was the only thing he ever wanted. But now, those same hands that once cradled me have turned restless. His gaze no longer lands on me, it passes through me, like I'm just air. I've noticed the late nights. The whispers on his phone. The smell of perfume that isn't mine. And yet, here I am, still waiting, still hoping that the man I married hasn't completely disappeared. I hear the heavy steps behind me, and my breath falters. Damon's voice slices through the air, low and sharp. Why do you always wait for me like this, Mia? You know I don't like games. Games? That's what he thinks this is? I grip the towel tighter around me, feeling the heat of his presence, the unspoken distance stretching like a chasm between us. I want to ask him where he's been. I want to ask him why he doesn't see me anymore. But the words catch in my throat, afraid of what his answer might shatter inside me. Without warning, his hand clutches the edge of my towel. His grip is firm, almost desperate. Stop pretending. His voice is a mixture of frustration and something else, something I can't quite name. In one swift pull, he rips the towel from my body, as if tearing down a wall I've hidden behind. But what he doesn't expect is what I've been waiting for him to see. I'm not bare. I'm not exposed. Beneath the towel, I'm wearing a dress, the same soft blue dress I wore on our first date. It clings to me now like a quiet rebellion. I watch his expression falter, his jaw tense, his breath hitch for the smallest second. You don't get to strip me down anymore, Damon. Not like that. My voice trembles, but I don't let it break. His eyes flicker, battling something I don't understand. Guilt? Anger? Regret? I don't know. But I do know this, something between us has just shifted, and it's not something either of us can undo. Just as he opens his mouth to speak, my phone buzzes on the table. I glance at it, and my pulse spikes. A name flashes on the screen, a name Damon should never see. And now, I have a secret, too. Damon's eyes flick to the glowing screen, and though he doesn't ask, I see the storm gathering in his chest. He knows. He doesn't know the name, but he knows that whatever just appeared on my phone, it's not innocent. The way his jaw clenches, the way his hand lingers in the air like he's still deciding whether to reach for me or retreat, it's all there. The tension pulls tight between us, fragile and combustible. But I don't offer him an explanation. Not yet. Instead, I rise slowly, feeling the weight of the moment press against my skin. The soft fabric of my dress brushes my thighs as I pass him, brushing his arm just slightly, enough to make him feel my nearness, but not enough to give him the comfort he's used to. I walk inside, leaving the door open behind me, knowing he'll follow, because he always does. Inside the apartment, the air is cooler, but I'm burning up inside. Damon trails after me, his steps careful now, less certain. He's seeing me, really seeing me, for the first time in months, and maybe that terrifies him. Mia, he says, his voice low, the edge of authority softened with something almost pleading. Who's texting you? I turn to face him, leaning against the marble counter, wrapping my arms around myself like I'm holding together the pieces he's scattered. You've been disappearing for weeks, Damon. You've had your secrets. Now I have mine. His hand runs through his hair in frustration. I've been working. You know that. Working late? I raise an eyebrow, trying to hold steady even though my chest is tight. Or working her. His eyes flash, but he says nothing. The silence answers me louder than words ever could. Once, we didn't need to speak. I used to be able to read every shift in his breathing, every subtle glance. Now, we circle each other like strangers dressed in familiar skin. But the ache hasn't gone. Even now, even in this mess, I feel the pull of him, the gravity of what we used to be. His fingertips ghost along the edge of the counter, inching closer like muscle memory is trying to override his guilt. I never stopped wanting you, he whispers. I wish those words still carried weight. Before I can reply, the phone buzzes again, this time louder, more urgent. He steps forward, his body close enough that I can feel the heat of him. Mia, who is he? And for the first time, I let the smallest, most dangerous smile touch my lips. Someone who sees me. Damon's silence is a storm I can feel building, but he doesn't reach for the phone. He doesn't need to. His pride won't let him touch it, won't let him ask again, even though the question sits between us like a ticking clock. The truth is, I wanted him to ask. I wanted him to demand answers, to fight for me like he used to. But he just stands there, staring at me like I've become a stranger in his home. Maybe I have. The soft hum of the city drifts in through the balcony door, but inside, everything feels unbearably still. Damon's hand curls into a fist at his side. I notice that now, how he clenches when he's cornered. How he holds back. I see you now, he says, almost to himself, like he's just realizing I've been slipping through his fingers. But maybe I've been too late. His voice has softened, but it's dangerous. Not because he's angry, but because I can tell he's remembering. He's remembering how easy it used to be to touch me, to pull me back, to win me over with a lazy smile and a kiss that promised forever. But this time, I'm not sure if I want to be one. I slide the phone into my pocket and step past him. You see me now, I echo, pausing briefly by his side. But you weren't looking when it mattered. His head turns just slightly, as if he wants to stop me, but he doesn't. The distance feels like miles now, though I can still feel the echo of his presence on my skin. Later that evening, I find myself sitting across from someone else, Adrien. He's not a stranger. Not anymore. Adrien isn't perfect, but he listens. When I speak, his eyes don't wander. When I laugh, he laughs with me, not past me. It didn't start with the intention to fill a void. But here we are, shared coffees, too many midnight texts, lingering moments when our hands brushed, and neither of us pulled away. It's not physical, not yet. But emotionally? I've crossed lines I never thought I would. He leans in slightly over the small cafe table, the soft glow of the streetlights catching in his hazel eyes. You don't have to say anything, Mia. I can already tell, he doesn't see you, not really. My throat tightens, guilt pressing hard against my ribs, but the comfort in his words is undeniable. Adrien is a refuge. A dangerous one. You shouldn't be here with me, I whisper, more to myself than to him. His smile is gentle, patient. And yet, you are. I glance at my phone on the table, Damon's name lighting up the screen. I don't answer. The suspense wraps tighter around me. I'm living between two men, one who's losing me and one who's finding me. But what scares me most is that I'm not sure which one I want to let go of. And maybe I don't want to choose. The weight of everything presses on me as I walk home in the rain, the distant city lights blurring through the tears I refuse to let fall. My phone buzzes again in my pocket, Damon, still calling, still reaching. I don't answer. I can't. Because if I hear his voice right now, I might crumble. And I'm tired of crumbling for him. But the ache doesn't leave me. It's like my heart is split in two, one side still tethered to the man I married, the other slowly slipping into the comfort of someone who isn't him. By the time I reach our apartment, the rain has soaked through my dress, the fabric clinging to my skin like a second confession. I step inside, cold, trembling, and find Damon waiting. His coat is still on. His car keys are clenched in his hand, but his eyes are burning. You didn't answer. His voice is low, but it trembles at the edges, like he's trying to keep himself together. I drop my bag on the floor, not bothering to make excuses. I'm too tired to lie. You don't get to ask where I've been, I whisper, my voice raw. Not after where you've been. His jaw tightens, his breathing uneven. I never left. I've always come home to you. Physically, yes, I say, stepping closer, my wet dress plastered to my skin. But your heart? Damon, you've been gone for months. He looks at me then, really looks at me, and it's as if he's seeing the cracks he's ignored for too long. He moves toward me, slowly, carefully, as if I might shatter if he gets too close. I didn't realize how far I'd pushed you away, he says, his voice softer, almost breaking. But I still want you, Mia. I never stopped. Tears sting my eyes, but I fight them. I want to believe him. God, I want to fall into him, to feel that safety again. But the memory of Adrian's steady presence lingers in my mind, like a shadow I can't shake. His hand brushes my cheek, tentative, afraid I might pull away. I don't. For the first time in months, our faces are close enough that I can feel his breath. The pull between us is magnetic, painful, familiar. But as he leans in, his lips just inches from mine, my phone buzzes again, this time Adrian's name glowing on the screen. And I don't move. I don't pull away. But I don't stop the phone from ringing either. The silence between us is deafening, the sound of Adrian's call cutting through the thick air like a blade. Damon's breath hitches, his thumb still resting gently against my cheek. His eyes flick to the phone, and for the first time, I see something fracture in him, something raw, something he can't control. Adrien, he whispers, almost to himself, as if tasting the name for the first time. It's not an accusation. It's a realization. I should have silenced the phone. I should have stepped back, broken the moment. But I didn't. And now, something we've kept in shadows is dragging itself into the light. His hand drops from my face, slow and heavy, as if touching me burns now. His chest rises and falls, his breath uneven, but his voice stays maddeningly calm. How long? I don't answer. I can't. Because the truth is messy and dangerous and hanging by threads I don't know how to cut. His eyes narrow, but there's something else beneath the surface. Something that terrifies me. Damon isn't pulling away. He's stepping closer. You've been slipping away from me, Mia, he says, his voice dropping lower, thick with something I can't quite name, pain, maybe, or possession. I thought it was just work. I thought we'd find our way back. But now, his hand fists in the fabric of my wet dress, his knuckles brushing my waist, now I think you wanted to be seen. The words sting because they're true. I wanted to be wanted. I wanted to be noticed. And Damon had stopped noticing. Until now. Before I can react, he reaches past me, snatching my phone from the table, answering the call. Adrien, he says, his tone dangerously controlled. You like calling my wife late at night? My stomach knots, panic flashing through me. Damon, he holds up a hand, silencing me without even looking. His eyes are locked on mine, but his words are for Adrien. You're not who she comes home to, Damon says, his voice dark but steady. You might make her feel seen, but you'll never be where she belongs. I snatched the phone from him, hanging up with a trembling hand. You had no right. His lips curve into a bitter smile. No right? You're still wearing my ring, Mia. The twist slices deeper than I expect. But then he does something I don't anticipate. He steps back. He gives me space. You know what? Damon says, his voice quieter now, laced with something heavier. I don't want to win you back just because I got caught being absent. I want you to choose me. Or not. His retreat should feel like freedom. But it doesn't. It feels like falling. And in the pit of my stomach, I know, this isn't over. Because I'm still answering calls I shouldn't. I don't know how long I stand there after Damon leaves, his words still echoing in the hollow spaces of our apartment. I want you to choose me. Or not. It should have been simple. But when hearts have been bruised and stitched back together so many times, choices aren't clean. They're tangled. They cut both ways. I walk to the balcony, the rain finally softening, the city shimmering under wet streets. My phone buzzes in my hand, Adrien. This time, I answer. I need to see you, he says, his voice warm, steady, the calm I've been clinging to. Come to me, Mia. Something in me shifts. Maybe it's selfish. Maybe it's cowardly. But I go. When I arrive at Adrian's place, his apartment is quiet, cozy, and smells faintly of cedar and coffee. He welcomes me with that soft smile, the one that tells me I'm safe here. That I'm seen. But as I step inside, there's a sharp knock at the door. Adrien glances at me, confused, but when he opens it, his expression shatters. It's Damon. I freeze, my breath lodged in my throat. How did he find me? Why did he come? But Damon's eyes don't hold rage. They don't hold bitterness. They hold understanding. I told you to choose, Damon says, his voice low but steady. But I realized I never gave you the whole truth. Adrien stiffens. What's he talking about? Damon's gaze flicks between us. Adrien, you're not just the other man, are you? Adrian's silence is the loudest answer. I feel my stomach twist, a cold wave washing over me. What is he saying? Adrien finally speaks, his voice tight, pained. I didn't plan this, Mia. I didn't know it would become you. But it started as something else. Damon's jaw clenches, but his eyes don't leave me. He wasn't a stranger, Mia. He was hired to watch me. To follow me. To catch me in whatever you suspected. The ground slips under me. Adrien steps forward, his hands trembling. It was supposed to be just a job, Mia. But then I saw you. And I couldn't stop. Tears burn in my eyes, betrayal folding in on itself in layers I never saw coming. So you both broke me, I whisper, my voice cracking. Adrian's breath catches. Damon's gaze softens. But neither of them moves. Because now, none of us knows who's saving whom, or who's still pretending. The weight of that night clings to me, long after the words stopped and the door finally closed. I stood there between them, caught in a storm I didn't see coming, one man I thought I'd lost, and another who was never fully mine. Adrien left first. He didn't try to argue. He didn't try to stay. His guilt folded over his feelings, crushing the fragile thing we'd built in secret. I meant it, Mia, he said softly as he turned away. But I can't be the man you trust after this. And maybe, in the quiet ache of my chest, I knew he was right. Damon lingered longer. He didn't press me for answers, didn't demand forgiveness. He just looked at me like he finally understood the depth of the distance between us. I broke us, he said, his voice steady but stripped of all defenses. But you chose to step away before I even realized I'd lost you. I guess we both let go, just at different times. I wanted to argue. I wanted to say it wasn't that simple. But maybe it was. In the days that followed, Damon and I unraveled gently. There was no screaming, no slammed doors, just two people quietly packing away the pieces of a love that had grown tired, brittle from neglect. We signed the papers with trembling hands, but our final goodbye wasn't bitter. It was sad, yes. But there was also a strange peace in the honesty of it. As for Adrien, I never saw him again. Maybe that's how it had to end. Maybe some people are only meant to walk with us for a season, not a lifetime. I used to think love was about holding on, about fighting, about always choosing each other. But now, I think sometimes love is knowing when to let go. When to release each other so you can both become whole again, separately. There are no perfect endings. There are just choices, consequences, and the people we become after we've been broken. If I've learned anything, it's this: being seen isn't the same as being loved. Sometimes, we chase attention because we mistake it for affection. Sometimes, we stay because we fear starting over. But real love, the kind that stays, is patient, present, and willing to show up even when things get hard. And if you've ever found yourself between two hearts, wondering where you belong, know this: you belong with yourself first. What would you have chosen? Damon? Adrien? Or would you have walked away like I did? Tell me in the comments. And let me know if you'd like a sequel, because sometimes, even after we walk away, life has a way of pulling us back in.